How much trouble are the Lakers in, Ramona?
I think they're okay for now. Like I thought they could have won game one. Probably should not have. They should have won game two and did not. Right. So how do you? It's one thing if you're getting blown out of these games, if you're not competitive, if you don't match up well with this team. I think Denver looks like a better team in these two games, but the Lakers are right there with them. And how much of the way Denver looks is because you're playing at altitude. The Lakers kind of hit a wall. I think they're playing LeBron and AD and some of their main guys really heavy minutes early on. And I thought in the fourth quarter last night, it just looked like the Lakers hit a wall. They looked tired. It was a lot to ask LeBron to be guarding Nikola Jokic and trying to be LeBron on offense. But they go back home. They haven't lost at home since late March. they haven't lost a game there in a long time. You got to feel good about that. They've gotten pretty much nothing out of D'Angelo Russell in this series. He'll probably play better at home. They haven't got much from Dennis Schroeder. He'll probably play better at home. But I don't think they're in that much trouble yet.
Yeah, I was watching last night, and LeBron's settling for those three-point shots. And this happens a lot with older players, that they will settle because it takes a lot to get to the hoop. And LeBron, when he gets to the hoop, is one of the maybe the best close that we've ever seen. But he keeps shooting the threes, and the Nuggets wanting to keep shooting the threes. For somebody with a really high basketball IQ, at what point does LeBron say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be taking these threes? He's the greatest scorer of all time. He's nowhere near one of the greatest shooters of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to put it. You've seen the graphic, right, or the stats of he's what he is by quarter for 3-pointers in the playoffs, and it's pretty staggering, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had 1 of 20 in the whole playoffs, and every time I see him shoot it, I'm like yelling at the TV, "Oh, not again! What do you do?" I mean, they're daring him to shoot those shots. Mm-hmm. That's what they're giving him, and I think he makes the change. I mean, he will try to shoot himself through some of these things. He's not afraid of taking those shots, but I think he is smart enough to say, okay, they're daring me to take them. We have to do something else here. Anthony Davis was the same thing. I thought he hasn't been a good 3-point shooter the last few years. He really and he made one of them yesterday. And it was like, oh, is this going to come back? Because if you remember in 2020, one of the biggest shots of Anthony Davis's career was when he hit the 3 against the Nuggets and then yelled out Kobe. You remember that? And that was like this very defining moment for him. And I felt like when he hit the first one, I was like, oh, we're back in 2020 where he's making threes again. I mean, if he hits those shots, it really gives a different dimension to the Laker offense, but he really hasn't hit 3-pointers in a couple of years. So, at some point you kind of have to get realistic with what you're really going to do offensively. And I think the adjustment for the Lakers is to find some way to get production out of some of their other good offensive players who have done things in the playoffs, who should be able to do things in this series. They can't just ask as much of LeBron and AD on both ends of the court.